Welcome to the Chautauqua County Board of Elections 2018 Election Inspector Training Guide. Every new employee must fill out an I-9 form. You will be asked to provide us with your Social Security card and your driver's license.
First on the to-do list, your poll site coordinator will meet with all inspectors to assign you to one of three teams: the floor team, the table team, or the machine team. Each team will be bipartisan, which means one team member is from the Republican Party and the other team member is from the Democratic Party. Always remember, whatever team you start the day with, you will end the day with.
Proper directions are the key to ensuring a successful voting experience on Election Day. The floor team, with the use of signage, will make sure the voter can find their way from the highway to the parking lot to the voting area. Once the polls are open, the floor team will greet voters and assist in any way they can. Here are samples of the maps and the sample ballot placards that should be placed inside the poll site to assist the voter. If they have any questions, be prepared to answer them.
Each poll site receives a green bag specifically for the floor team. Enclosed in the green bag will be all the laminated indoor signs and the plastic outdoor signage, plus the magnifiers for the yellow voting booths. All these signs are to help assist the voters on their election day journey and ultimately a successful voting experience. Another duty of the floor team will be to set up the yellow voting booths, affectionately referred by the Board of Election staff as the bumblebee. With that, be sure the path to the scanners and the voting areas do not infringe on any voter's privacy. Look over the following list of items that are needed for the yellow privacy voting booths. Remember to get the magnifier from the green bag and place in the yellow voting booths. Also remember, in Dunkirk and Jamestown, post all signs in Spanish and English.
Here is the list of general duties of the floor team during the Election Day process. Please review. Remember, you may be rotated to another job during the day. At the end of the night, it is your responsibility to make sure you are back at the floor team, where it will be your job to gather all signage and pack all equipment. When done, report to the poll site coordinator and then sit in an area out of the way and be ready to assist as needed. Here's a list of the items that the floor team will place either in the machine or on top of the machine at the end of the night. Once the green sign bag has been packed, please place it on top of the machine for return to Mayville the following day. If in doubt what goes where, please refer to the visual aids we provided for you either inside the machine or inside the green sign bag.
The next team is the table team. Once again, during the morning meeting, the poll site coordinator will go over the following items for the table team. A bipartisan team of inspectors will set up the voter sign-in tables. One of the most important duties of the table team is to remove any confusion by the voter. In multiple election districts, we need to set up election district signs. The election district signs should be visible from every vantage point of the entrance. Be sure to separate the district tables by at least a foot or more in order to avoid confusion for the voter and the table team worker.
This slide shows you how single district and multiple districts may be set up with the use of district signs. Please note how professional the tables look with all necessary supplies in its place. Additional supplies may be stored behind the sign-in tables. Please review the supplies that you will find inside the red poll site coordinator bag and the chocolate bag. Here is a listing of all the bags and table supplies that are found in the chocolate bag, as well as a picture of all the forms that will be found in the raspberry. Remember, all forms that are signed during the course of the day must be returned to the raspberry, where they will be returned to the Board of Elections.
Table team morning setup requires the team to remove from the machine optical scan ballots, affidavit ballots, poll books, and privacy sleeves. The opening table team must then remove the transmittal reports from the raspberry and check the header to be sure you have the correct report. In multiple districts, sort the optical scan ballots and the poll books according to the ballot ID number. Be sure to match poll books to the ballot ID number. Then match the provisional affidavit ballot ID number on the transmittal report.
A bipartisan team of inspectors will be asked to fill out the ballot transmittal report. The ballot ID number is printed on the form. You will be asked to record the number of booklets received, the start number, as well as the end number. Both inspectors completing this form must sign on the appropriate party line. If there are any irregularities as far as ballots are concerned, you must notify the poll site coordinator immediately.
Once the polls are open and throughout the day, the real fun begins right at the table team with greeting the voter. Smile and welcome the guest. And then, now this is difficult because you might already know the person, but nevertheless, regardless of their relationship to you, ask the voter for their name. No one, including the voter and you, don't like to be embarrassed. If you cannot find a voter's name, ask if they changed their name since the last time they voted. If the voter has changed their name but has not moved out of the district, and you find their previous name in the poll book, ask the voter to sign their old name in the left signature box above the computer-generated signature, allowing you to verify the signature. Then have the voter sign their new name in the blank signature box. Remember to make a note on the challenge report. As a side note, please remember that if you mark something on the challenge report, there is no need to write it down in the inspector notebook. Here is a sample of how a voter who changed their name signed the poll book.
When working on the table team and greeting the voter, if you're having difficulty finding the voter's name in the poll book, ask the poll site coordinator for assistance. They will assist you in determining if the voter is in the correct poll site. Remember, if the voter's name is not in your poll book, they are not allowed to vote on the machine without a court order. If they're in the correct poll site but not in the poll book, they'll be directed to filling out a provisional affidavit ballot. If they're in the wrong poll site, they will be referred to the correct poll site by use of a referral slip. When working on the table team, it is a must that after we have found the voter's name in the poll book, they must and I repeat, they must sign their name in the poll book. In New York State, matching the voter signature in the poll book is all that is required for proof of ID. We cannot issue a ballot until the voter has signed the poll book.
For already registered voters, no ID is required in New York State unless it is indicated in the poll book.
We must make sure that the ballot issued to the voter is the correct ballot. The voter must receive a ballot with an ID number that matches the ballot ID number on the front of the poll book they signed. Here is a sample of the cover of the Chautauqua County Board of Elections poll book. The ballot ID number is found in the lower right-hand corner. If the voter signs this poll book, the ballot they are issued must match this ballot ID number. Here you can see where the actual ballot ID number is located on the ballot. Remember, before issuing this ballot ID number, make sure it corresponds to the ballot ID number on the poll book that the voter signed.
On occasion, the voter needs assistance in the election process. In those cases, the only ones who can assist the voter are family members, a friend of the voter, or bipartisan inspectors, all of which are then properly recorded on the challenge sheet. Those who cannot assist a voter are an employer and/or a union official. Only voters, staff, and election inspectors are allowed in the voting area, along with those who have been properly recorded on the challenge sheet.
Our Election Day goal. On Election Day, everyone must have the opportunity to vote. No voter with a residence in Chautauqua County is to be turned away from a poll site. A provisional affidavit ballot will be issued to the voter whose name is not in the poll book, but is in the correct poll site. All provisional affidavit ballots are researched after the election by the Board of Election staff. If it is determined that a voter is in the correct polling place, but their name is not in the poll book, they will be given the opportunity to fill out a provisional affidavit ballot. Once we are sure that they are in the correct site, they are issued a notice to voters. Then they're given the provisional affidavit envelope. And then when the voter returns the provisional affidavit envelope, we check to make sure it is properly filled out. Once it is filled out, we will issue the correct ballot using the voter's current address as a reference. Once the voter has filled out the ballot, they will return it in the envelope. We will double check again to make sure that the envelope is completely filled out, sealed, and signed. We will then complete the challenge report, place the completed envelope into the blue affidavit ballot bag. Notation in the inspector notebook is not necessary unless you have had to void the ballot.
If voter's name is not in the poll book, and using their current address, we find out that they belong in another voting district, we will then issue them a referral slip to the correct polling site.
Here are the types of ballots we may come across on Election Day. A voided ballot. Any mistake made by the voter in which they are issued a new ballot. An abandoned ballot. Any ballot that may have been left in the ballot marking area or in the trash or anywhere there is no voter to claim ownership. An unscanned ballot, any ballot that will not scan, or any ballot left behind in the voting area where the attempt was made to vote the ballot, but there was no one to claim ownership. Provisional affidavit ballots provided to any voter who is in the correct poll site but not in the poll book. Absentee ballots, a ballot used by the voter when he or she will not be in the county on election day. At the closing of the polls, we're going to ask 2 members of the table team to complete the ballot collection report and the end-of-day transmittal report. Please remember, do not leave blank lines. If there are no numbers to be filled in, put in a 0. As with all reports that are signed, it must be returned to the Raspberry folder.
At the end of the election, 2 members of the table team will be asked to complete the ballot collection report. This report will assist the Board of Elections in identifying the number of write-in and unscanned ballots. It is a must the inspectors sign the report.
Here is a sample of an unscanned ballot. At the end of the night, all unscanned ballots must be removed from the machine by a team of inspectors from the table team filling out the ballot collection report. After the report has been filled out, the unscanned ballot must be tallied on the unscanned ballot tally sheet. Here is a sample of an unscanned ballot tally sheet. Note, this tally sheet will match the ballot. Once this sheet has been completed, it must be signed by a bipartisan team of inspectors and then returned to the unscanned ballot bag with the ballot and the tally sheet.
At the end of the day, the table team will be asked to complete the transmittal report. Please do not leave any line blank. Use a 0 when necessary. The same 2 morning team members must complete and sign this report at the end of the day.
It is mandatory that these supplies are returned to the chocolate bag after the election process is complete. This bag is then returned on election night to the Board of Elections. Please review. For assistance, please look at the visual aid that is packed inside the bag. Staff at the Board of Elections cannot start procedures for certification in the morning without these supplies. It is a must that they be returned to Mayville on election night in the chocolate bag.
Here is a listing of the supplies that are to be placed in the red poll site coordinator bag at the end of the night. The red poll site coordinator bag is then to be placed inside the machine at the end of the night for return to Mayville. If in doubt, refer to the picture in the bag. Please note, only unused affidavit envelopes are to be returned in the red poll site coordinator bag.
Here is a visual aid of what takes place after gone in 5. The table team removes any unscanned ballots and write-in ballots and places them in the appropriate bag, remembering unscanned ballots are to be tallied before they are returned to Mayville. The machine team will remove the blue ballot bag and fill it with the following items listed. Also is a picture of what goes into the machine at the end of the night. Please note, the red poll site coordinator bag is to be returned in the machine, not at the end of the night with the chocolate bag and blue ballot bag.
At the end of the night, the big blue ballot bag is packed with all optical scanned ballots that were recorded by the machine, all used ballot booklet stubs, any opened ballot booklets, and all poll books.
The table team will return the following items to the machine at the end of the night: any unused ballots in the original shrink wrap, privacy sleeves, the red poll site coordinator bag. I repeat, the red poll site coordinator bag. Also, please note, the raspberry does not go into the red poll site coordinator bag at the end of the night. It is returned in the chocolate bag.
To ensure a successful voting experience, the machine team will do the following. Make sure the voter can easily identify the location of the machine. Remember to assist, but not intrude, and always be ready to assist. Ask the voter to stay at the machine until the screen reads, "Ballot successfully cast." The poll site coordinator will issue the red key bag, which contains the following.
On Election Day, we have two styles of machines that may be out in service for the voter. The first machine, most commonly used in all locations, is the BMD machine, the ballot marking device. This machine can be used for any voter who may have special needs. The non-BMD machine, sometimes called the T machine, is used just to scan ballots. The voter needing special needs cannot use this machine unless they are capable of just scanning the ballot through.
This is what the red key bag looks like.
This is a sample of the BMD seal report. Seal reports are used by the Board of Elections to protect the integrity of the machine from the day it is tested, shipped, to election morning. We are going to ask a bipartisan team of inspectors to verify the numbers that are on the seal report to the numbers that are on the machine. We're also going to ask you to please record the public count and the protected recount. Remember, a bipartisan team must assign this report in the morning. If you are rotated out during the day to another responsibility, please make sure you return to the machine team at the end of the night. The two inspectors that sign the report in the morning are to sign the report at the close of polls. In the pouch in the front of the machine, you're going to find this visual aid with 9 simple steps to get your machine open on Election Day. We're going to take you through these steps one at a time on the following slides.
Remove the seal from the ballot box door. Record the seal on the seal report and open the ballot box door. Remove and distribute all the supplies. Please note, the blue ballot bag is not shown in this picture. Remove the ADA kit from the front door and place on the back of the unit. Be sure to close and lock the front door. Verify the administrative menu is on the screen and that the ballots cast are 0. Double check that all supplies have been removed from the machine. Lock the ballot box door and seal.
Complete the seal report. You can use these pictures as a guide as to where you can locate the seals on the machine. At the direction of the poll site coordinator, open the polls at 6 a.m. for general elections. The LCD screen will tell you that the results are 0. Would you like to print a status report or a 0 report? Touch a 0. After the report has printed, record on the seal report the public count found on the LCD, and from the zero report, the protected count. Sign and print your names to the report. The LCD screen will ask you if you would like more reports. Touch No.
Congratulations! The screen now shows that the system is ready. At this point, broken seals are returned to the red key bag, signed zero report placed in the red key bag, signed seal report returned to the raspberry folder. Now you're ready to roll.
When the scanner records an irregularity with the ballot, the LCD screen will tell the voter what the problem is. Here are some samples of some of the messages you may see on the LCD screen. Always ask the voter to read the LCD screen, and remember, they have a choice. They may see a misread ballot. If the ballot does not work after 3 attempts, the voter may get a new ballot or replace it in the unscanned slot. They may see a message that says ambiguous marks. The ballot will be returned for a new ballot option for the voter to correct or place the ballot in the unscanned slot. There is no way to cast an ambiguous marked ballot in the machine. They may be told they filled in too many ovals, or they voted for the same candidate more than once when a candidate is cross-endorsed, or they possibly inserted a blank ballot.
If the ballot is misread, this is the message on the LCD screen. Some of the possible reasons for a misread ballot are a torn barcode or the wrong ballots at poll site. Remember, after 3 attempts, the ballot should be counted as unscanned or a new ballot issued. The voter has a choice.
If the voter sees the message, 1 or more ambiguous marks detected on the ballot, the machine could not read a mark on 1 or more of the contests. Simply touching More on the screen will bring up the contest that has been affected by the ambiguous marks. The voter has the choice to either get a new ballot and correct it, or to place this ballot into the unscanned slot.
If a voter filled in too many ovals, the machine will tell them they voted for more candidates than allowed to. The voter has a choice detailed on the LCD screen. If the voter has any questions, the election inspector is allowed to assist. Remind the voters they have an option. They can cast the ballot as is or request a new ballot.
When a voter is cross-endorsed and the candidate fills in that voter's name more than once, they will see this message. The LCD screen will read that while your preference is clear, it is not clear which party you prefer. If you do not change your ballot, your vote will count for the candidate, but only under the party you selected first on the ballot. You have the choice to cast as is or to change your ballot to reflect the party of your preference by pressing the return button and asking for a new ballot. You also have the choice to ignore this message and cast your ballot as is.
If the blank ballots message comes up on the screen, the voter can return the ballot by pressing Return or press Cast to submit ballot as is.
There are 2 types of paper jam messages you may see on the LCD screen. The first paper jam detected will tell you that the results have been saved. It will tell you to clear the jam and drop the ballot into the blue ballot bag. Hit the Cleared when done. The second jam will tell you that the results have not been saved. Clear the jam. Do not drop the ballot into the ballot bag. Return the ballot to the voter and have them recast after you've hit the cleared button.
In the unlikely event of a machine failure on election day, follow these steps. If necessary, the poll site coordinator will call your area director for assistance. We should never have people standing in line to cast a ballot. And be sure to assure voters that a bipartisan team will insert ballots when the unit is back in operation.
Just as in the morning we provided you with some simple steps to open the machines, we'll also provide you with these 10 steps to close the machines down at the end of voting. We'll take you through these steps one at a time on the next slides. At 9 p.m., after all voters in the building have voted, the poll site coordinator announces the polls are closed. Firmly contact the I button to the security pad to enter the administrative menu on the LCD screen.
Press the Closed Poll option on the screen. The following message will appear. Are you certain you wish to close the polls? Press Yes.
After pressing Yes, the detail report tape will now print. After printing, the screen will ask if you want more copies. If none are required, press No. The inspectors that signed the zero report will now sign the end-of-day report. Record on the seal report the public count found on the LCD, and from the end-of-day report, the protected count. Place this signed report into the blue speed bag.
The administrative menu will now reappear. Power down the machine by touching Power Down. You will now see the message, Are you certain you wish to shut down the tabulator? Touch Yes. Another reminder, be sure to record the public count before you power down. The LCD screen will go black. Press the button as shown.
After you have powered down the machine, be sure the blinking lights on the front of the machine are off, and then remove the blue poll worker card door seal. Please place the broken seal into the red key bag immediately and remove the poll worker data card. Place the data card and the end-of-day report into the blue speed bag. After you have double-checked that the end-of-day report and the data card are in the bag, seal the bag.
Packing at the end of the day. We must repeat that it is very important. At the end of the day, the following supplies are packed in the blue ballot bag and returned to Mayville that night to allow the Board of Election staff to start reconciling ballots Wednesday morning. Refer to the picture inside the machine for packing at the end of the night.
As one big team, we want to make sure that the election experience for each voter was a pleasurable one. We want to make sure they tell their friends about it and that they want to come back again the following year. The floor team ensures that with good signage, the voter will easily find his or her way into the poll site. Once inside, the voter will find good information, sample ballots, election district maps, and directions on how to cast a ballot. The floor team must ensure that the privacy rules of the voting area are strictly followed. The table team ensures that the voter is properly greeted. By using your training from today's lesson, you'll be able to assist the voter through the poll book sign-in and ballot issuing process. The machine team, using your training from today, you'll ensure that the voting experience will be pleasant for every voter, and that every voter had the opportunity to successfully cast their ballot.
In conclusion, under the direction of the poll site coordinator, the table, floor, and machine teams ensures that each voter has a quick, efficient, and satisfying election experience. Thank you for your time.